Hi, my name is Matthijs. I'm one of the co-founders of Vandebron. Let me start by explaining you something about the Dutch energy market, which is actually quite similar to the European energy market, and well, that's also part of the problem. Dutch households are in the top 3 of Europe when it comes to choosing green energy. Over 60% of the Dutch households choose green energy when switching from energy company. However, the Netherlands, as an sustainable energy producing country, is in the bottom top 3 of Europe. We only produce about 10% green energy in the Netherlands, of which actually 6% is just, bringing in some wood chips from Canada, put them in a coal-fired plant and call it green energy. So at Vandebron we say it's actually only about 4-ish% of real green energy in the Netherlands, which immediately shows a big problem. So we have about 60% demand for green energy and about 10 or 4-ish% of actual green energy produced. Well, the solution the big corporate companies with the large coal-fired plants have is bringing in cheap certificates from outside the country, usually Scandinavian countries. Well, what they do with the extra income for the green energy, they're able to build a coal-fired plant, buy some certificates and sell it to you or the consumer as green energy. Well, at Vandebron we know one thing for sure: if you choose green energy, you don't choose to build a coal-fired plant and adding some certificates and having green energy. Hence Vandebron, which is the first online marketplace for sustainable energy, where you as a consumer can buy your energy directly from a sustainable source of your choice. Which is better for both parties, because unlike a traditional energy company, we don't make any margin on the energy. We just provide an infrastructure and a platform which allows the producers and the consumers to do business with each other. And we charge a flat fee, just like, for instance, Spotify. So whether you use 1 or 1 million kilowatt hours, we don't earn any extra money, which actually benefits both. So the consumer pays less and the producer gets more. And more important, as a consumer, you retain the influence you have by choosing green energy. The influence is taken away by the big energy companies because you choose green and actually you get green washes. But by selecting a local producer and paying him, you at least know that you're not paying some CEO of a big corporate to build a coal-fired plant. You support a local sustainable producer in their means of production. And it's a success. Over 20,000 consumers already select green energy straight from the source, or as we call it, rechtstreeks van de bron. And we have over 20 producers now on our platform supplying energy to those consumers. A couple of them are already sold out, meaning that they will earn between 10 and 20% extra compared to when they would have sold it to a traditional energy company. Just to give you an idea, for a small-scale wind farmer, it's about 10,000 euros per year extra. And we don't stop there. We also involve our consumers and our producers through social field days, where the consumers of that specific producer visit the producer, usually a farmer, gets educated about, their biological pumpkins or their biological potatoes, and we educate them. Usually they bring a lot of kids because, they're city people and they like farms, about energy and the importance of green energy in, our current society. And next of January, we will expand our social involvement of our consumers. We will create a proposition which allows people to sell, or with people with solar panels, to sell their excess produced energy, which is usually a smaller amount, to sell it to either their friends, their relatives, to donate to charity, or give it away to their children, instead of, selling it for practically nothing to the standard utility company. We think in January, with this proposition, we will radically change the market for solar panels and also, the business case for solar in general. And to finish my presentation, we are really proud of the fact that about a month ago, we became the fastest growing company in the Dutch energy market without being an energy company. Thank you.
Start with Lucas gets the first question this time.
Yes, Lucas from the Netherlands. Matthijs, the impact of your model comes when by giving more incentives to people to actually start building new windmills or solar panels, right? Because
we improve the business case of sustainable energy production.
So far you are incentivizing those who already had a windmill or a solar.
Yeah, to be honest, we already have 2 projects which will be well, not financed, but will be sold, which are under construction, one in Zealand and one in Flevoland, which will sell their energy through Vandebron, and which is part of the entire development of the production side.
Okay, so the model is already contributing
Yeah,
to new
exactly.
additional
Yeah. And
energy.
it's contributing to, well, the removal of the intransparency, which allows the big corporations, well, to do wrong thing with money which should have been gone to a good cause.
Right. And can you say something about your business model? That's not clear to me. If you project to have 1.9 million in this year, where does that money come from?
Well, it came from our investors, so I don't know what's written there, but we got a funding last year of 1.9 million euros from a couple of investors to start our business, because, well, energy business is quite a capital intense business. So the 1.9 million you're referring to is our investment, and in about 4 months we expect to break even. And our business model is a flat fee for consumers, so they pay €5 for a gas connection and €5 for an electricity connection. Gas we supply as a service because, well, everybody in the Netherlands has a gas connection, and, well, being with 2 different utilities isn't very practical. And we also completely compensate the gas users with gold standard certificates. So yeah, our business model is based on connections, €5 per month, including VAT.
€5 per month.
Yeah, per connection.
Amelie.
How do you work with the bigger issue of lobbying against the certificate market?
Well, that's it's funny you mentioned. Last week we were also at a conference, and the CEO of Ascent, which is part of RWE, came to us and said, "Yeah, I kind of like your business model, and, well, are there any hurdles I need to help you with? Because I have 15 people in The Hague who can lobby for you." So, well, one of the questions of yesterday was, what would you do if you would win the prize, and what would you use, for instance, Ashoka for? Well, at this moment, I think we're too small to be really on the radar and really a big issue through the traditional energy companies. But I think as soon as they realize that we are really cannibalizing on their customers, they will start to try and manipulate all kinds of rules and regulations in order to, well, have us stopped. And well, the question was, what would we use Ashoka for? Well, the more people we have behind us, well, the stronger we can be in making sure that our business model stays.
Martine?
I'm Martina from Switzerland. I wonder, or I was surprised when I heard the flat rate. So because we in Switzerland always say, well, we have to flat rate. We have to
flat fee.
reduce flat fee, yeah. That we have to reduce our energy consumption. Why have you chosen for the different model? Because actually, couldn't we use more with the resource we have in the renewable energy if everybody would use less?
Yeah, well, that's where our business model aligns with our customers, because traditional energy companies, they earn money by selling you kilowatt hours or cubic meters of gas. So when they say, well, you should save, it's like, well, a butcher saying maybe you should eat some more vegetables. It's complete bullshit. Sorry for the words. We have the same interest, because the more people save, the more people we can add to a production means, so to a windmill, for instance, because we don't sell more than the windmill will ever produce. And our business model is about the quantity of customers and the quantity of connections. So the less people use, the more connections we can add to a windmill, and, well, the better it is for a business.
What about Benjamin from Germany? What about scaling up into other countries? Is it regulation-wise and everything?
Yeah, well,
Is
we can't scale up to countries which don't have a liberalized energy market. Luckily, in Europe, a lot of countries have. Well, France still owns a state monopoly on the energy market, but Germany, Belgium, and UK, which are the most logical steps for us, all have a liberated energy market.
Paul from Ireland. So, if I'm understanding correctly, the problem you're addressing at the outset is the fact that supply is not meeting demand because the existing suppliers have a stranglehold. So, and back to what Lucas was asking, so in terms of what is your desired, or what do you think is the most pragmatic outcome for you on the supply side? Is it encouraging more new green suppliers to come in and take on the big guys with your help? Or would it not actually be a bigger impact to actually get the existing guys to change and supply green energy from their resources?
Well, yeah, you're both. We want transparency, so the big guys can't sell grey energy as green energy, and we want to increase the business case for local sustainable energy production. Which means that we want to make the business case for solar on roofs better. We want to make the business case for other sustainable energy production better. And that's one thing we're really passionate about, is the big guys actually take away the influence of the consumer. The consumer says, I want to buy A, and they say, yeah, give me your money, and I build B and buy something which allows me to legally call it A, and then, actually take away the influence from the consumer. So we want to force the transparency into the market, because we think that's the only way that the power of the consumer will contribute to more sustainable energy production.
Any other questions? Yes, Amelie.
How many customers do you need to get in?
Well, I need a couple of thousand more. So in about 4 months we will be break even, and the goal for end of next year is about 50 to 60,000 customers. And the way we're growing at the moment, we're pretty confident that we'll get there.
Andrea?
Just to tell a little bit more about the social impact.
Yeah. Well, what we see is that there's quite a lack of knowledge about the energy market. For instance, the problem I just addressed, most of the people we talk to don't know. They just think, well, I buy green energy from one of the big corporations, so it will probably be green. So the social thing is we want to connect our consumers to our producers, which enables the consumer to, usually see what a farm looks like and actually be there with their feet in the mud. And at the same time, get educated by us through presentations, through the urge of why we need green energy at this moment and not in about, 80 years from now on. And the other part of our social impact is that we will create a proposition which allows people to trade their excess energy on their roof, so they're consumers with solar panels, with other people. So there's a really personal connection between the producer and the consumer, and I think that's lacking at this moment. The social side, or the real people behind energy production, at least sustainable energy production, are just not known to the public.
That's time. Thanks, Matthias.
Thank you.
And Lucas, if you can stay there, we're going to have Lucas come up and take a photo quickly with you. Excuse me, Paul.